So with young coaches, the one thing I see, I deal with graduate assistants, and we call them staff assistants. They're paid interns, basically. So they're all, 23 to 25, maybe 26 years old. They're younger kids, and they're kids to me. I'm 43. So what I notice a lot is when you get into something, you're going to have what you were taught, kind of maybe what you did in college or what you learned in the book. And that's kind of your basis for how you go from there. And what I see, it's kind of a 50-50 in my experience with what I've dealt with, is some of these kids are super open to the way I want things done because they're interested in learning. And another 50% of them are like, well, this is I don't care what you did. I don't care what you know. This is how I did it in college. The way we do it now is very different. There's a lot of things that are similar. We squat, we clean, we press, all that stuff is basic, but it's set up very differently. It's organized differently. The workouts themselves are run differently than the way it was. So you have to start somewhere, and you have to be super open to other ideas. If you look at my programs right now, I realize I'm getting a little off topic, but I think it'll all come around. When you look at my programs right now, there's a huge powerlifting and bodybuilding influence. Get strong, build a buttload of muscle. And when I think bodybuilding, I think of balance. Your quads can't get too big, so your hamstrings don't look right, whatever. So in athletics, when I think of balance, you think of injury prevention and staying healthy. If my quads get too big, I'm going to get knee issues. Maybe not an ACL tear or something like that, but I'm going to start having issues. So I need to keep my hamstrings in balance to make sure that my knee tracks properly and all that nonsense. So that's what I think about with bodybuilding, is balance in the body, undo imbalances that sport creates, undo imbalances that life creates. So those are the primary influences. We do some Olympic lifts. So there's an Olympic lifting influence. There's a tumbling, like very rudimentary gymnastics influence. We do somersaults and cartwheels before every lifting workout to create some body awareness and movement and space and all that stuff. There's a bit of a CrossFit influence. We always have a circuit in the training where we're working on a little bit of strength with a little bit of conditioning. So we draw from a lot of different things. There's a big 5-3-1 influence in what I do. There's a little bit of a Westside influence. It's not direct, but if I explain it to you, you can sit there and go, oh, I get it. The conjugate idea of training multiple skills at the same time, at different times a year. There's more of a focus on one skill than another, but there's always multiple performance skills that we're working on. So even though it may be hard to look at and go, oh, I see this, I see this, I see block periodization, I see Western periodization, it's all in there. So as young coaches, they come in and they know one thing. And it's kind of like what I said earlier about the sport coaches. They know just enough to be incredibly dangerous because they don't really know anything. And I was that way when I was younger, so I can see it. This is the way you got to do things because so-and-so said so, and I read this, and then as you get a little bit older, you just have to be willing to understand there's a few ways to do things that work really well, and you have to be open to learning that, even if you disagree with it. Because as you learn it, as you start to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, when you leave, because I'm a waypoint, they're going to be with me for a year to 2 years. I'm just a waypoint in their career. Learn how I want things done. Learn the why. Understand everything you possibly can. Because at the end of it, you've either learned a better way to do things or you've learned what not to do. Either way, you're that much closer to figuring out the way you want things done. So I think it's incredibly important to learn about stuff that you don't know, you disagree with, because it's only going to help you in the long run figure out what you want to do. And the thing, I have one kid right now that drives me nuts with this, And I tell them, I go, your toolbox is this big. My toolbox is this big. And I believe that. Over the last 27 years of doing this in some way, shape, or form, my toolbox got huge. And now it's back to this. But what's in my box now as compared to 27 years ago, it's only the stuff that matters. It's the stuff that works. I've kind of, not 100%, but I've kind of figured out, it's not great, this is dumb, I'm still getting this taken care of. And you start to just whittle down and you figure you get so much knowledge, and then you just try to simplify. You learn a lot, and then you figure out what to get rid of. It's like what Vincent talked about with reading on the internet. Do a little bit of research, look into things, figure out, am I taking care of this, doing this? I don't need to worry about this anymore, and just whittle it down so that you can become really good at what you've got. It should be a constant process of learning. If you think this is the way to do it, you are wrong. It's got to evolve constantly. And you've got to be willing to evolve constantly. And you've got to be willing to be confident in what you know, 10 times as humble, knowing, understanding that you don't know anything. And even now at 43, with 27 years of doing this in some way, shape, or form, it's unbelievable how much I don't know. I know what I know, and I'm super confident in it because I've seen it work. I have anecdotal evidence that it works, regardless of what the science books say and all that. But I know it works, and I know there's so much out there, it's just beyond me. So I don't see a lot of young coaches with that humility of they think they know, you know. I get resumes all the time. I'm an excellent communicator. And I look and I'm like, they graduated college 2 months ago. And you're telling me you're an excellent communicator? Get out of here. I get what they're trying to do. And I often wonder if other head coaches are as horrible when they read resumes as I am. Because I am. I am horrible. If I see bad grammar, I'm going way off topic again. I don't care. If I see bad grammar, if I see bad punctuation, I'm like, nope, you're out. If you can't communicate to me through a freaking cover letter that's 4 paragraphs long, you're out. I don't want it. You know, one of the best emails I ever got from a kid, I won't say her name, but she ended up getting a good job. Her opening was Coach Rhodes. Clearly, we're long lost cousins. Her last name was Rhodes, right? And I'm like, this kid's awesome. Guaranteed interview. I didn't even look at her resume. I'm like, I'm interviewing this kid. She's got balls. She's got a sense of humor. And I like that. It really jumped out at me. Turns out she's a black woman. So black woman, white dude, I'm like, this kid's really got a sense of humor. And I thought that was really cool. And we talked a couple times, and she ended up getting a better opportunity. But I'm like, this kid, like, she communicated, she had a sense of humor. She's not telling me how wonderful I am. I know how wonderful I am. I know what I can do for you. I can give you an opportunity to be a GA, to get experience. I know that. You tell me what I can do for you. I know the basics of what I can do for you. I know you don't want to come to my school because it's the pinnacle of fun when you're not working, and it's this massive Power 5 program. You just want a job. I know that. Don't butter me up. Don't tell me my program's one of the best in America. Tell me what I can do for you. Tell me how I can help you, what you want to get from me. Because like I said, I know the basics of what I can do for you. I can give you a job, and I can be something on your resume. Tell me the stuff that I don't know. Does that make sense? God, I can talk, huh?